All right, let's dig into this. It's kind of like finding a massive treasure chest, right?
Okay.
But instead of, gold and jewels, it's all digital.
Yeah.
And it's worth billions.
Billions. Well.
Yeah, billions. That's pretty much the situation the UK government is dealing with right now. We're doing a deep dive today into this really fascinating case.
Right.
The UK Home Office and the police, they're trying to figure out how to sell this huge stash of seized cryptocurrency.
Okay.
So our mission here is to unpack it all. Just how much Bitcoin are we talking? Where did it actually come from? What are the sort of legal hurdles, the financial side, and honestly, the mind-bending logistics of selling off so much digital money?
Sounds like quite the story.
Okay, so get the scale here. It's genuinely staggering. We're not talking small change.
Yeah.
We're talking at least $7 billion worth.
7 billion.
In Bitcoin.
Yep.
That's at least 61,000 Bitcoin. Seriously, when I first saw that figure, my jaw just kind of dropped.
Yeah, that's an astronomical amount. It's hard to even picture.
Exactly. Can you even imagine handling that?
Well, and it's not just the amount, it's the origin, right? What's really striking here is where it came from.
Right.
This huge stash, it wasn't just, found. It was specifically recovered from the UK side of a big Chinese Ponzi scheme.
Ah, okay. So directly linked to crime?
Directly. Very serious financial crime. And just to give you a concrete example, there was a woman sentenced, I think it was just last year, 2024.
Yeah.
To over 6 years in prison. Her crime was laundering about 150 Bitcoin connected to this exact same fraud.
Wow. Okay, so that really underlines the why behind the seizure. It's proceeds of crime, plain and simple.
Precisely.
So that immediately brings up the question, doesn't it? With such a clear criminal source,
Yeah.
what happens next? What about the original victims of the Ponzi scheme?
Yeah.
Do they get it back? Or is this just like a massive potential payday for the UK government?
And that's the core issue, the real tug of war happening right now.
Okay.
The victims, understandably, they've asked for the funds back. They've made formal requests.
Makes sense.
But the Crown Prosecution Service, they're the main public prosecutors in England and Wales. They've actually gone to the High Court
For what?
to ask for permission to keep the seized Bitcoin.
Keep it instead of returning it.
Yes. And if the court agrees, the plan is the cash equivalent would go straight to the UK Treasury.
Straight to the government's bank account, basically. Skipping the victims for now.
That seems to be the route they're pursuing, yes.
Huh. So victims on one side, government potentially getting a multi-billion-pound boost on the other.
Exactly.
And you can bet someone's watching this very closely. The Chancellor of the Exchequer, right? Rachel Reeves.
Oh, absolutely. Given the UK's current, budget situation,
Yeah?
facing a significant shortfall.
Yeah, a £7 billion windfall would be significant.
Hugely significant.
Mm.
And it ties into the broader government approach to crypto, too.
How so?
Well, if you connect the dots, Rachel Reeves actually said back in April that the UK Treasury wants to work more closely with the US.
On crypto.
Yeah, specifically on supporting innovation in crypto, but doing it through clearer regulations.
Okay, so regulation is key.
Right. She actually said, and this is a direct quote, "Robust rules around crypto will boost investor confidence, support the growth of fintech, and protect people across the UK."
Interesting. So it's like a two-pronged thing. Seize the illicit crypto, like this massive haul, but also try and build a framework for the legitimate crypto industry to grow.
That seems to be the strategy. Crack down hard on the crime, show they can enforce the rules, but also signal that legitimate regulated crypto business is welcome.
It's a fascinating balancing act, isn't it? Seizing billions from crime while saying, we want innovation. Does the industry see that as a mixed message or just necessary?
That's a really good question. I think some might see it as mixed, but the government would probably argue it's about setting clear boundaries.
Okay.
They need to show the UK isn't, the Wild West for crypto criminals.
Right.
But that if you play by the rules, there's opportunity. So seizing these funds is part of demonstrating that enforcement capability, even in the digital world.
Okay, that makes sense. But let's get back to the practical side. It's one thing to legally seize 61,000 Bitcoin. It's another thing entirely to actually sell it. How on earth do you even begin to do that? It's definitely not like popping down to a pawn shop.
Not even close.
Yeah.
It is incredibly complex, and the way the UK government is tackling it is quite unique.
Oh, yeah. What are they doing?
They're actually setting up a specific contract, offering potentially millions of dollars for a company to run a centralized service.
The service just for...
Just for holding and selling all seized cryptocurrencies. Not just this batch, but ongoing seizures too.
Wow. Okay, so they're outsourcing the whole headache.
Pretty much. The contract itself, it was put out by an organization called Blue Light Commercial, which is actually owned by the police forces, believe it or not.
Really? Police own.
Yeah, it helps them with procurement, and they issued it on behalf of the Home Office.
And it's a big contract.
It's substantial, worth up to around 53.7 million US dollars, and it's meant to run for at least 4 years.
4 years. Just to manage selling seized crypto.
It shows the scale and the expected duration of this need. It requires really specific skills, digital asset security, market knowledge, execution, without, tanking the price.
Right, you can't just dump 61,000 Bitcoin on the market at once.
Absolutely not. But here's a twist.
Uh-oh.
According to the Telegraph, this big proposal, this contract, they haven't actually received any acceptable bids yet.
No takers. Really? For potentially $50 million.
Apparently not that meet the requirements.
Mm-hmm.
It just highlights how niche and how challenging this really is.
Yes.
Even firms in the crypto space might find it daunting or too complex.
That's a massive roadblock then. And another thing that strikes me is the time involved. These legal processes, they aren't quick, are they?
No, definitely not. We're talking about potentially volatile assets just sitting there.
So how long does it typically take?
Well, the tender notice itself, the official document for the contract, it actually spells it out. It says, and I'm paraphrasing slightly, the average time between seizure and actually selling the assets is within 1 year.
Okay, a year average.
But for more complex cases, it could be 3 to 4 years.
3 to 4 years.
Yes, 3 to 4 years from seizure to potential sale.
Wow. So this Bitcoin, potentially worth billions today, could be sitting in digital lockup for years while the courts sort things out and the government tries to find someone to sell it.
That's the reality. It highlights the very long game involved in these kinds of high-stakes digital asset cases.
And the value could go anywhere in that time. Up, down, sideways. That's a huge risk, isn't it, for the Treasury's potential windfall?
It absolutely is. It's a gamble dictated by legal timelines and market volatility.
Yeah.
They have to weigh the potential gains against market shifts, the ongoing legal fights, and these really tricky technical challenges of actually managing and selling the crypto.
It's a calculated risk then, but clearly one they think is worth taking given the potential prize.
Seems that way, yes. The potential gain for the national coffers is just too large to ignore, despite the complexities.
So when you really boil it down, this whole situation, it's not just about a huge pile of digital money.
No, it's much more.
It really shows us this intricate web, doesn't it? You've got the cutting edge of legal battles over digital assets.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the very real financial pressures on a government.
Yeah.
And then these incredibly complex, almost unprecedented logistical hurdles of dealing with crypto on such a massive scale. It really shows how fast the world's changing and maybe how slow some of the old systems are to catch up.
Absolutely. And it leads to a really important question, maybe something for you, the listener, to think about.
Okay.
As digital assets like Bitcoin become more and more common, more integrated into everything, how are governments all over the world going to keep adapting their laws, their infrastructure?
Yeah.
How will they handle massive seizures like this one in the future?
Yeah.
And how do they strike that balance between, getting justice for victims and the potential for a big payout for the state?
Right.
The way the UK handles this specific case, it could end up being a really important example, maybe a model or perhaps even a warning for how digital asset regulation and enforcement evolves globally. It's definitely one to watch.